Shalom, giving all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Ruach HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the elect. Those of you coming back to the Most High through the sacrifice made by His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, through whom we have received the Holy Spirit to stand on our feet, all right, in these latter days, all right, prophesying, repenting, calling on the names of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, all right, on the road to redemption. All right, as you can see, all right, we are close, all right, we are very close to the final two prophecies needed to be fulfilled in order for us to get out of here. And that's the MOTB, all right, written about in Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, which is the final move these devils are going to make to complete their new world order and have full control and Godhead on the planet Earth, all right. They will be the Most High if they're able to accomplish, you know, this plan. Also, you have World War III, okay. Now, the MOTB is going to be issued before full all-out World War III breaks forth, all right? But as Yahweh Shai told you, there will be wars and rumors of wars before it finally hit. And we're living in a time where Babylon the Great, okay, America is weakened, all right? The beast system itself is partly strong and partly weak, all right? And they all have differences, all right, that are going to aid in the fulfillment of World War III. All right, now you can see this title, this article here, Weak Joe Biden, no match for Vladimir Putin and other foes. Now, Vladimir Putin, if you don't know, all right, he is the president of Russia, okay? And we're living in a time where Russia is being brought back to that old Soviet spirit where they were a major threat. Okay, and as all of these other nations are becoming stronger, Babylon the Great morally is decaying away. All right, yeah, they still have the strength of the military, but look at who is in the military. Okay, the Alphabet Gang, a bunch of women, okay, sissified, beardless men, okay? And to top it all off, look at your president, okay? Look at this guy. He's the laughing stock of the whole entire planet Earth. Now I'm going to read a little bit of this article written by a guy named Michael Goodwin. Okay, this is on nypost.com. It says, when it comes to making a deal with Russia, Joe Biden has a problem. He wants to talk. See, these nations are tired of talking, all right? Vladimir Putin, okay, wants Ukraine and has massed 175,000 troops on the border to prove it, all right? Now, Ukraine is an ally of the United States, all right, and the EU, right? So there's conflict of interest going on, all right, that are pushing forth these rumors of war we're starting to hear about. You see, Iran has popped back up in the news as well. It says, our adversaries, let me go up here. It says, Biden has a similar problem with China and Iran. The president wants to talk about a range of issues and differences. They want to expand their territorial control and crush their enemies. Okay, our adversaries have clear goals and iron fist. We have a fumbling, mumbling president, okay, who leads an alliance of largely disarmed welfare states formerly known as NATO. All right. Our military is a woke but sleeping giant. Okay, and that goes into the partly weak and partly strong. Now, yeah, the military portion of the beast system is still strong, but they're divided. Okay, it says, as presidents go, Biden is an especially weak one. All right. He can't unite his own party in Congress, and members of various factions feel no need to give him the legislation he wants. Nobody fears him. Now, in times past, America was feared and looked at as the power. All right. When America showed up to the party, everyone shut down. Okay. In times past, you would have never heard China, North Korea, these various different countries who are, saying what they're saying to America, saying it. But we're living in a time where this place is being weakened and being prepared for the final destruction as it deserves. Okay? Because look at the things that are happening around you. Look at the things that are happening in Babylon the Great. This place is worthy of all destruction. Okay? Now, I'm not going to read all of this article. All right? But this article leading the way through the topic we're going to go into lets us know that America around the world is looked at as weak under the Biden administration. All right. Now, let me jump here real quick. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. Iran fires missiles, torpedoes, drones in war games after U.S. weapons test in Persian Gulf. All right, so there's a lot of flexing going on. There's a lot of talking back and forth. There's a lot of mocking of America. Okay. Wars and rumors of wars. You see those rumors of wars, man. Okay. And this was in response to America's weapons test. Okay. So we're seeing that friction between Iran, all right, Russia, America, and various different countries. All right. In preparation for what? World War III. As the Holy Scriptures lets us know, there will be 3 woes. Okay. Revelation 8:13, it says, "And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth." You had World War I, World War II, and as it says here, Revelation 11:14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And that's the third, all right, world war, in which will be a bloodbath in the Middle East. Okay? Let's get the book of Isaiah, the 34th chapter. The final decision of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, which will lead to our deliverance. Okay? So we don't have long. All right? We're living in some very, very interesting times. And as brothers have been saying, 2022 is going to be a hell of a year. Okay? This is Isaiah 34:1. "Come near, ye nations, hear and hearken, ye people. Let the earth and all that is therein, the world and all the things that come forth from it." All right? "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them and have delivered them to the slaughter." And that's what you're ultimately being brought over to the Middle East to do for World War III. Okay? And missiles will be shot over here to Babylon the Great, which has never happened in a sense of any outside threat. All right? The only missiles that have ever landed here was when Esau was fighting Esau. Okay? But the Lord is going to ultimately use a great company of nations led by Russia, okay, to utterly destroy this place. Not to mention other EU beast system countries, as is written in Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right, but over in the Middle East, there's going to be a bloodbath for the Lord's final decision. Okay, "Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood." Okay, and this is a prophecy of what's to come. Now, when you go to Joel, the 3rd chapter, it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men draw near, and let them come up." Okay, "Beat your plowshare into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I am strong." So a lot of these countries that were looked at as weak, All right. And farming, agricultural based countries are now putting their influence and meditating terror and anteing up in missiles. So they're beating their plowshares into sword. Plowshare is something you use for crops, farming. All right. And ultimately now they're arming themselves with swords. Okay. And let the weak say I am strong. Okay. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down. O Lord, let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay, and why is this all happening? When you go to Joel 3:1, same chapter, it says, for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, all right, the tabernacle of David, all right, southern and northern kingdom, all right, which are being raised up here in Babylon and all throughout the four corners of the earth, I will also gather all nations. So right when the Lord is getting ready to have mercy on us, there's going to be a great gathering of all nations for war, okay, and bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat over in the Middle East. And this is how we know the name of the Lord is Yahweh. When you go into that, it's Yahweh Shaphat, all right, Yahweh's judgment. Also in the name Judah, it's Yahweh Dah, all right. It says, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they had scattered among the nations and parted my land. So there's going to be a great slaughtering. All right. War is ultimately being prepared for prophecy to be fulfilled. Now, let's go here. U.S. Senator won't rule out nuclear strike against Russia. Okay. And here it is. Those 1948ers have committed genocide for years, and not one finger has been lifted. But the minute Russia is a threat to Ukraine, here it is, the U.S. turns into the big badass. And why is this happening? For the purpose of prophecy being fulfilled. As we know, Gog and Magog will be major players in prophecy for us to get to the end. Okay? Let's listen to this.
Well, military action could mean that we stand off with our ships in the Black Sea and we rain destruction on Russian military capability. It could mean that. It could mean that we participate, and I would not rule that out. I would not rule out American troops on the ground. We don't. Do you know we don't rule out first use nuclear action.
All right, so there you hear it. It says, Republican Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker gave a disturbing interview with Fox News where he floated the possibility of ground deployment. All right, and there's going to be a draft. Okay. And nuclear strike against Russia should the U.S. engage conflict over Ukraine. All right, so things are happening, man. I would not rule out military action. I think we start making a mistake when we take options off the table. So I would hope the president keeps that option on the table. All right, so war is being prepared. Wars and rumors of wars. Let's get that real quick. Matthew, the 24th chapter. Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And we're seeing all of these things happening now. Divisions, friction, tension. All right, trust is out of the door. Okay. And there shall be famines, We're seeing famines worldwide. All right. We're seeing manufactured famines happening. All right. And being prepared here in Babylon as well. Okay. And pestilences. All right. We definitely see those. And earthquakes in diverse places. Now, there's an article here. A swarm of more than 40 earthquakes in 24 hours causing a buzz in the northwest United States. Okay. And if all you have to do is just type in, earthquake tracker, worldwide, and you'll see that earthquakes are happening in diverse places. Okay. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay. So we're witnessing the beginning of sorrows. All right. And it's synonymous with wars, rumors of wars, famines, people rising up, uproars of the people. Okay, and Yahweh Shai is quoting Ezra. Second Ezra's the ninth chapter says the same exact thing. And the reason all of these things are happening is because the Lord is getting ready to bring a sore destruction, okay, to this earth, all right, in the form of taking out and wiping out Babylon the Great. Okay, breaking up this beast system. All right, and ultimately, wickedness has ran its course. Okay, case in point. All right, here it is. You have men, okay, who 1 year they compete in particular sports events as men, and then they suppress their testosterone, change themselves into so-called women. All right, so-called change themselves, and then compete, and they're smashing all of the women records. Okay, look at this guy. Look at that neck. You see? Now, like I always say, women were the main ones marching and crying and screaming for the rights of these, trans people, right? And now, if you look at what's happening, women are being replaced. You see? They're breaking all of your records. You got a lot of them, these things winning, Woman of the Year. So systematically, this man is setting up Satan's kingdom on the planet Earth, man. So you should be, all right, urging on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to bring war and pestilence and hell to this earth because it's too much. Their sinful works have ran their course, man. Okay. in another thing, okay, a sign of the fire to come to Babylon the Great. Now I don't know if this was okay. It says Fox News Christmas tree set on fire. I thought it was a natural occurrence because that happens a lot. Okay, but Fox News Christmas tree set on fire in New York City. Check this out.
Breaking news from the overnight. Somebody set the Christmas tree that is located outside the Fox News Midtown headquarters on fire. You're looking at Citizen App video of the flames. Police say that it happened just after midnight. The suspect is in custody. Eyewitness News reporter Tony Yates is live in Midtown. Tony has more for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. That video is so sad, isn't it? The first thing we want to say, though, is that nobody was hurt in this fire, but it really is to look at that video. It's so sad because it is a symbol that means so much to so many people, and crews have been out here right now washing down, cleaning up the area.
That's gonna be Babylon the Great. All right, and this is a Babylonian idol. See, because we are in the daughter of Babylon. Okay, when you go to Jeremiah the 10th chapter, it talks about this particular custom in which our people are heavily into. Well, here it is, the Lord. All right, I'm guessing they got somebody in custody, and who knows what type of propaganda they're gonna, bring with that. But ultimately, fire was set to this idol. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's just type in the idols of Babylon. Okay. As a matter of fact, there's one in Micah, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, look, this is Psalms 15:4. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. And that's what that is. It's no God. And we know that that Christmas tree is to represent Nimrod's phallus. Okay? Isaiah 2:18. And the idols he shall utterly abolish, because our people bow to these things. Isaiah 19:1. The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And the idols are being moved, okay? Being confounded. Jeremiah 50:2. Declare ye among the nations, publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Baal is confounded, Marduk is broken in pieces. These are all Babylonian deities. Her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. All right, now the one I'm looking for is, I believe, let's see here. Yep. This is Isaiah. This is Micah 1:7. And all the graven images thereof shall be beaten. Let's go back to LaToya Jackson's report.
Yeah, this is a beautiful tree out here in front of the News Corps building on 6th Avenue. Of course, holiday decorations are up all over the city. It's a destination for thousands of people to experience the holidays here in the Big Apple. So at about 12:15 last night, a man was seen climbing the tree and then lighting the tree on fire. Building security was able to tackle him to the ground. They called police, who arrested him. Just a sad situation. The News Corps building houses several companies, including Fox News, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Post. We do know that the suspect is 49 years old. At one point, he lived in Brooklyn. We're expecting to learn more about him and possibly a motive sometime later today.
All right, they're going to learn more about the suspect and the motive. So we will see. We will see what type of propaganda they bring forth with that one. But overall, the Heavenly Father is pissed off with this place. Why? Because your sins have reached up unto the heavens. Revelation 18:5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. So war is being prepared. Okay? War is being prepared because the Lord is fed up with this place. So going back to what we're dealing with here, the U.S. Senator won't rule out nuclear strikes against Russia. Also, all right, you see, let's pull this up.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul from Off Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian. This is the latest speech that we have from President Putin about the situation between NATO and Ukraine. He was meeting the Greek Prime Minister today, so this is really short. I want to let you hear what President Putin had to say about what he thinks is going on right now.
I think that maybe for now that will be enough. We believe that for now our concerns will be heard, even though over the past decades we have constantly been talking about what worries us, but for some reason NATO infrastructure has always been encroaching on our borders. They have their missile defense systems in Poland, etc., and we have all reasons to believe that the same would happen in Ukraine if Ukraine should become a member of NATO. How can we not think about that? If we do not think about such things, that would be criminal of us to disregard these concerns, these potential threats. This was part of our conversation yesterday. I think that maybe...
So this is the latest speech. I will leave the article and you can read more about it, but I don't know what Putin's going to do, folks. No one really knows whether They will invade Ukraine or not. We have been threatening them constantly, with our troops on their borders. So it's all up in the air. I guess we're going to all find out together. But I did want to bring you this breaking news about the latest information from Russia concerning, what they're going to do or if they're going to do anything. So we'll do our live breaking news.
So there you have it. Okay. And we know Ezekiel the 38th chapter, as we always go into, speaks of Gog and Magog. All right. This region. All right. These Russians. Okay. Who currently inhabit that land, being used for a great purpose and prophecy for war. You see? So that's something to look out for. Also here, Russia tells U.S. embassy to leave Moscow. So we're right at that point where Russia is eventually going to, think that evil thought, all right, which is going to have them to attack Babylon, also Israel. Okay. That's another factor that will eventually start to pop up in the news more. Okay. Because, things are happening to draw Babylon out. You see, because it's a snare being laid for Babylon the Great. As a matter of fact, let's get that in the book of Obadiah. And all of them are a part of it. This is Obadiah, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread had laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. All right. Now, there's also a scripture, and that's where we are now. Verse 8, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and the understanding out of the mount of Esau? Because he thinks he's in control. He's drunk, all right, with pride. Okay. But there's also a scripture that we can link to that, Jeremiah 50:24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. And see, Babylon is used to bullying, okay, having their way, being able to lie in the media and do all of the wickedness they want. But we're in a time where the Lord is getting ready to checkmate you devils over here in Babylon the Great, using your own kind. All right. As well as other different heathen nations. You see? So going back here, let's see, where were we? And this is big right here. Russia tells U.S. embassy to leave Moscow. Like, get out of here. Okay. American embassy workers have been stationed in Moscow for over 3 years and have been given just weeks to leave the country. Russia's foreign ministry has announced amid a growing row with Washington over diplomatic visas. Okay, so there's all types of friction, man. Get your ass out of here. Speaking at a briefing on Wednesday, diplomatic spokeswoman, all right, Maria Zakharova, announced that by January 31st, 2022, employees of the U.S. Embassy in Moscow who have been assigned for more than 3 years must leave Russia. Get out of here. We don't want y'all here no more. All right. And over there in Russia, although they're devils, all right, they're against GMOs. All right. They're not with that whole vibe of the LGBT garbage, how America is. They're totally opposite over there. Okay. They don't have a whole bunch of social media. So it's a different vibe out there. So there's a reason outside of what they're telling you why they're telling them to get the hell up out of there, man. Because Babylonians are toxic, and wherever they go. Okay, and why do they have an embassy here anyway? Okay, they have embassies all over the world, and that lets you know that this is Babylon the Great, the modern day Roman Empire. Spread all over the earth, man. It says the news comes after Washington reportedly denied extending the visas of dozens of family members of Russian diplomats based in the U.S. That as well, all right? According to her, we consider the American move to be a clear expulsion and intend to react accordingly. So the frictions are being, flared up, fanners, as the scriptures say. Okay? She said that such a game was started by America's policy decisions rather than because Russia was eager to break off ties. Russia's tired of y'all. And that's prophetic. We tried long and hard to reason with them and direct them to some constructive solution to the issue, but they made their choice. So Babylon is acting in a manner that is going to have everybody ready to blast off on their ass. And see, America and NATO, they're looking at that weak version, all right, of Russia after the Soviet Union disbanded. Okay, but they don't understand that the Lord has a very, very cold spirit on them in this time, and it's all prophetic. All right, NATO's mistake is that it still thinks it's dealing with the weakened Russia of the 90s. Okay, and this is a very, very good article. I mean, there's so much. I'm not going to be able to read it all, but let's see if we can read a little bit of this. Let's see here. Because remember, NATO was created to combat the not ancient, but the USSR, all right, Russia, all right, the old Soviet Union. But, NATO's force and, dominance, eventually the Soviet Union weakened. So as they're playing with them now, they think they're still playing with that old version of Russia. But prophetically, hey, what the scripture say, let the weak say, I am strong. Yeah, they were weak for a while, all right, but they're back. So let's read a little bit of this. Recent shockwaves in Russian-Ukrainian relations and the increasing involvement of the U.S. could prove to be among the most significant milestones in the history of Europe since the end of the Cold War over 3 decades ago. But the groundwork for a clash of heads was laid long before the present day. The Cold War really never ended. It says, since the reunification of Germany, the continent's security architecture, the careful truce between East and West that had held strong even at the most tense moments of the 20th century has been systematically dismantled. See that? Was that process avoidable? It's pointless to even ask. It's all prophecy, all right? What matters is that since then, the key principle has been that each and every country can decide for itself which military and political alliances it wishes to join, okay? Which in prophecy, you're going to have particular EU nations and NATO nations eventually join forces against America. Watch. Just watch. It says, of course, that choice wasn't always a free one. And after 1991, NATO became the only club in its town as others had packed up. All right. And that's, when, the USSR, all right, was weakened. Now, NATO has a problem on his hand. The USSR is pretty much back, going into prophecy that the Lord will put hooks into their jaws. All right. It says this, however, meant that the bloc itself fell into a trap. It underwent a series of seemingly trouble-free expansions, speaking of NATO, finding little or no opposition. And this is, why we say years ago, no one would ever be talking shit to America or NATO like it's happening in these times. It says, as a part of the political and ideological crusade, the military became second, both in terms of how much new member states were actually supposed to contribute and whether the bloc would actually step in to defend them all. Let's see here. All right, yada, yada, yada. Let's see here. At the same time, in the first decade after the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia was so weak and so dependent on its foreign partners that even had it opposed NATO's plans, it was widely believed. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. It was widely believed it could be neutralized through non-military means. Rebuilding a country to the point of self-sufficiency, after all, would take years. Well, years have gone by, but the West mindset haven't moved on. They still feel like they're in control, still feel like they can do whatever the hell they want to do, right? Given that narrative, any attempts by Russia to negotiate cast iron guarantees about its security now or in the past could have only very limited success. As proposals have made, all proposals made by Moscow, sincerely otherwise, will require the other side giving up its underlying principle that only NATO gets to make the decisions. All right, so that's what's happening. This whole system is being weakened. Okay, and that goes into the 10 toes as well. It said it can consider and ignore other parties' interest at will, but they will always come second to its own agenda. Anything else for the bloc's leaders is unacceptable. And let's not forget the key mantra that dominated its thinking throughout the 90s and up to 2010s. It says, no external player has the right to veto the alliance's decisions on how it will choose to work with protective members. So now you see, as we're looking here, Putin is saying it would be criminal for Russia to stand by and allow Ukraine to join NATO. NATO is saying we can do what the hell we want. All right, because that territory is right there. Okay? In Russia, and he's already complaining about how they have troops on their borders. So ultimately, this is a play, all right, to have strategic settings and placement for striking Russia, all right, and to big dog their ass. But what is Russia saying? No, we would be fools to allow you to allow Ukraine to join NATO. Okay? But like we're reading in this article, the NATO and America, which America's a part of NATO, they think they're still dealing with the weakened Russia. And prophetically, we know that they're not. Why? Because the Lord said he would turn Gog and Magog around and put hooks into their jaws. All right, and that's how you would tame particular wild beast. Okay, meaning he's going to rouse them up. All right, but use them to make strategic moves. Okay, buck up against particular moves that are being made, all right, by the beast system, America, all right, and eventually think an evil thought, okay, shoot missiles on Israel, invade, shoot missiles in America as well. A lot is getting ready to happen in the planet Earth, man. Big moves are being played for the purpose of prophecy, man. Call Halal Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shah. So we're going to see a lot in the coming days dealing with this. All right. So if NATO think that they can just invite Ukraine, which that's right off of the borders of Russia, man, right there. You think you're just going to, allow them membership into NATO, and then you're going to set up shop over there in Ukraine and think Russia is going to be comfortable with that? No, that's clearly a war play. That's clearly a strategic move to get closer, all right, to Russia for a direct strike when things do pop off, man. All right, so Russia ain't having it, man. So you're going to see more war and rumors of war being talked about. All right. U.S. gets even closer to war with both Russia and China. So war is in the air. All right. And all of these nations or eventually, this is the Lord's determination, man. This place is going to be wholly decimated with fire when it's all said and done. Jeremiah 50:13, because of the wrath, of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited. Speaking of Babylon the Great, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. Showing you that the destruction of Babylon is not the end of the world. People are still going to be on the earth, man. This beast system that currently dominates the earth is going down, and a new system, a new government is going to be set up in the form of the throne of David. But before that, these nations are going to do what? Put yourselves in array against Babylon. All right. Everybody's going to look to Babylon at some point and figure out that they are the ultimate problem. And they got to get her out of the way. Okay. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, all you that have these weapons, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahweh. So the Lord is going to allow you heathen to destroy each other. That bloodbath over in the Middle East. Okay. And over here in Babylon the Great, a mass destruction. Because this is the only place on the earth that will not be inhabited ever again. Okay. So going back here. Shout against her round about. She have given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are broken down. For as the vengeance of the Lord, take vengeance upon her, if she have done, do unto her. And you Edomites, you America, Babylon the Great is known as the hammer of the earth in the Holy Scriptures, man. Okay. Right here, Jeremiah 50:22, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And that's the future, all right, of Babylon the Great, the hammer of the earth. All right, you're going to go from hunk to punk. Okay, you're used to bullying, using your alliances to just, trump over things. Say what you want to say, do what you want to do. But we're living in a time where now Babylon is being weakened. And the funny part about it is the Lord is putting the spirit on your elites to do it, as well as these other countries, which are eventually going to shoot, all right, missiles, because the elite ultimately think they are the Most High God. Okay. They think that they're setting everything up for their purpose, but ultimately they're getting ready to be made a fool of. Okay. The Lord is getting ready to confound all of you heathen. This is why he got you all arguing. Okay, the Pentagon squares off with National Guard troops defying, all right, the juice mandate. The Lord got you devils right where he wants you, man. Okay, and this is you brothers and you sisters, these things aren't our fight. Ultimately, we sit back, we use the world as not abuse it, but ultimately we know and we're preparing our souls that we're going to have to wholly go on a journey where the Lord has already, laid down for us, man, and trust and believe his plan. Because this place is filthy. It's too much. And all of this friction is going to lead to civil unrest and more hell. Okay, firefighters suspended without pay. What do you think this is going to lead to? People losing their goddamn minds. Tyranny, okay? Draconian measures. All right? Yeah. Anyway, we'll just read some of these titles. And Salaki, I'm doing a little detox. So I'm a little faint, but the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai, okay, we're going to push this word, man. Through the spirit. It says, explosion in new heart conditions explained as post-pandemic stress disorder. Okay? because there's an explosion in heart conditions happening. And we know what can be tied to that and what is tied to it. Okay? But it's being called post-pandemic stress disorder. We're still in the pandemic. Anyway, I don't want to say too much about that. There's some dumb loser who's listening to the video with the power to strike it will do it. Well, they got an algorithm anyway. But ultimately, they got a team watching us. And you know they're getting cut. Okay? Through. Congress tosses a proposal to require women to register for the draft. All right, so that's off the record for now. But we know all of these things are going to eventually be thrown out there, and they're going to go full out dragon. Okay? Tesla. And a state judge has just temporarily blocked New York City's mandate for its workers. So it's like a up and down. I mean, they're just basically playing with everybody's emotions, their mind, you know. But ultimately, they're divided. Okay, their own tongues are falling up on themselves. This is the end of the beast system, man. The 10 toes, which the end of it are synonymous with the bear in Revelation the 13th chapter, which is Russia. Okay, that wild beast. All right, the Lord got him sitting, doing particular things, but eventually he's roused up, as the scriptures say. He would stir up the spirit of the Medes in the latter days, which that's synonymous with Russia as well. All right, going to the ancient Soviet Union, the borders of that USSR Soviet Union line up with some of the territory that the ancient Medes controlled. Okay, so when you read Isaiah the 13th chapter, and it talks about the Lord stirring up the spirit of the Medes, and Russia means to be roused up, everything is basically in its place, running its course for the purpose of prophecy, man. And America's through. All right, Biden threatens Putin with economic sequences if Russian aggression continues. Okay, just what we're talking about. and Putin, they look at America like, like I said, Russia is on a whole nother level. The Edomites over there, the men are more manlier. Okay. And, in Russia, you American women, take your ass over there to Russia, running up on those men and see what the hell happened to your ass. Get in the man's face. Go to Russia and do all of that shit. That's what we should do. All right. We get a little power. We go learn how to fly an airplane. All right. Before the chariots come, learn how to fly an airplane. The Lord give us the spirit and drop packs of American women off in Russia, man. And do the shit you do on all of these podcasts and on social media. Go over there and do it. Okay? Russia, them Russians don't mesh with the Edomites over here in Babylon and Great. They look at you as a scum. They're in the talks now. Russia is suing Netflix. Man, this place sucks, man. We got to get the hell up out of here. The corruptions of pharma as a service. Nothing but corruption. And pharma, okay, is one of Babylon's sins. Okay. Revelation 18th chapter tells you one of the sins of Babylon the Great deals with what is pharmakia. All right. Revelation 18:23, and the light of a candle shall no more at all shine in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all the nations deceived. And that word sorceries, all right, is what? Pharmakia. Okay, let's view the Vine's expository. All right, the use of medicine, drugs, spells, the poisoning, sorcery. Okay, it's in the carpet. It's in the oh yeah, it gets that deep. I just did a video going into the DuPont family. Okay, the use of Teflon and various things to ultimately poison the people, man. And it's leading to, deformities, ailments. And that's just one instance. All right. The clothing, the food. All right. The remedies that are to heal you here. It's all right. Here. All right. It's all in this word. And they're openly telling you. So the Lord blatantly, it's hidden, but then at the same time, there's a lot of things that really is like, wow. I mean, it's clear as day. We're in Babylon, man. Okay. But then they take Jake to jail for being a lesser level witch selling drugs on a corner. But then they have all of these pharmaceutical companies, which ultimately, man, they're responsible for billions of deaths, right? Millions of people die annually dealing with these damn psych meds. As a matter of fact, let's look it up. Yeah, there go that article. Russia investigates complaint over Netflix. They're tired of that shit, man. Because, here in America, you can put LGBT content and for people who are 16 or older. All right, but they do it even younger than that. But in Russia, is basically we don't allow that type of propaganda on non-traditional sexual relations. Anyway, what was I looking up? Let's see here. Oh, how many people die? Let me go to DuckDuckGo. Okay. Psychiatric medications kill more Americans than heroin. People become a slave to this stuff. Anyway, and these things are just given out from the true drug dealers and witches and warlocks. Anyway, let's go back here. Let's read these titles and get up out of here. So the corruptions of that service, all right? The sorceries. It says how Congress loots the Treasury for the military industrial congressional complex. All right. Putin to Biden. Finlandize Ukraine or we will. Okay. Either the U.S. and NATO provide us with legal guarantees that Ukraine will never join NATO or become a base for weapons that can threaten Russia, or we will guarantee it ourselves. Wow, this goes exactly to what we were going into. And eventually they're going to think that evil thought, man, which is going to lead to friction with Israel in Babylon, man. Because Babylon is going to come to the aid of Israel. Right? So like we were saying, This is his message. The threat on our western border is rising. As we have said multiple times in our dialogue with the United States and its allies, we will insist on developing concrete agreements prohibiting any further eastward expansion of NATO. So here it is. NATO is trying to expand and get Ukraine under their belt. And Russia's like, hell nah, man. Either you stop even talking about it, either you put it to a halt, or we will. And the placement there of weapon systems in the immediate vicinity of Russian territory. That comes too close to an ultimatum. And NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg backhanded the president of Russia for issuing it. Okay? It says, it's only Ukraine. This is the NATO secretary responding. It's only Ukraine and 30 NATO allies that decide when Ukraine is ready to join NATO. Okay? It's only Ukraine and 30 NATO allies that decide when Ukraine is ready to join NATO. Russia has no veto, meaning you're not a part of the beast system. You're not a part of NATO. You're not a part of the EU. But we're going to get Ukraine linked in with us. Russia has no say. And Russia has no right to establish a sphere of influence trying to control their neighbors. So there you go with the pride of this damn dragon, man. You see? He don't give a fuck, man. As a matter of fact, when you get a Habakkuk, the second chapter, or the first chapter, speaking of the Chaldeans, which ultimately Babylon takes on that. This is Habakkuk 1:10, and they shall scoff at kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. Okay, so that's what they're doing. They're scoffing at the kings. They're scoffing at Putin, all right, which is a modern day king, in a sense. All right, although we know the true ones who rule are the banking families, man. Anyway, that's what you see happening, man. So it says California school bribed boy with pizza to get the juice without parents' consent. Told him to keep it secret. So we need the Lord to come back, man. That's fucked up right there, boy. Man, ain't no love in these streets, homie. What they don't know, don't show. Potentially hazardous, and this is why this place is going to be destroyed, man. All right, Eiffel Tower size asteroid passing Earth this week. They keep talking about these asteroids. What's going on there? Mainstream economists are struggling to hide the economic collapse. That's why they're throwing all these weirdo, bizarre stories at you, man. Okay, nigga just pop up with makeup on, a whole clown face. Just you look up, you see anything in Babylon the Great. Looking into this news, because everything is a distraction from the fact that prophecy is coming to pass, and that was Satan's. That's his purpose, man. To deceive you and ensnare your soul into the dark side. And that's where many of you people are, man. Senator Ron Paul will force a vote to block $650 million worth of arms sale to Saudi Arabia. And they've already given all of the nations more than enough ammunition. The Lord gave you, here it is, you Edomites are supposed to be the top you know, the top smartest, the highest IQ, and look how you've run your kingdom, and look what you've done. You've basically financed, and you're setting up your own destruction. And you're so goddamn proud that you don't see you at the very end of your bullshit, man. Oregon moves to make indoor mask mandate permanent. Here we go. Here we go. It's about to get crazy, man. 2022, wait till they come with all that propaganda. Lithium tech may send the EV boom into overdrive. Big Food says the transition to the New World Order food system is already well underway. They're not hiding what they're doing. You know, that may be something I can go into at some point. Biden Surgeon General, even even triple juiced, still have to wear masks indoors. Oh man. Goodness gracious. Y'all niggas ain't gonna even be able to piss on your own after a while. God damn, man. Verizon may have just enrolled you in a data collection scheme. Here's how to get out. And they got all sorts of the things in these devices, stealing your information and things you record, all of that, man. This devil gotta go, because ultimately he wants to be the most high. Okay, and he wants to watch. He thinks he can see and watch everything, but see, he's being watched. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there, man. Shalom.